So this story, it's kind of interesting. When Jeff started buying gear from me, Will Smith started showing up at the store, and poking around and looking at things. And at this time, I think the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air hadn't started yet. I mean, he was going to move out to LA, but he still had his house in Philadelphia. So he came in the store, and we had these big tannoy speakers with the dual concentric 15-inch speaker in there. And he wanted to buy them. So, I wrote up the sale, and the sale with Will and Jeff, it went to their accountant, and their accountant would send us checks. So me and Will loaded the speakers into this van at the store, and me and Will drove it over to his house. And we got the speakers into his house, and it was kind of funny because his girlfriend at the time was yelling at him. She said, "What are you doing? What did you buy?" And we dragged the speakers into the where he had like kind of a music room, and it was, he had this couch that actually had like springs sticking out of it, something like you would see from a cartoon. And he pushed it out of the way. We put the speakers where they belonged, and then we had an amplifier. We hooked it up, and then he hooked up an MPC 60, and he hit it, and he was just hitting the click track, and he's rapping to the click track, and he was happy as anything. But what happened is, after he bought those speakers, when I got back to the office, the accountant got in touch with me and said, "Okay, you can't let Will spend more than $10,000 a week in gear." And that got back to Will, and he was really mad. And I had nothing to do with it, but I knew he was mad, and I knew he was over at Jeff's studio right next door. So I went over there and tried to see if I could smooth things over. And we went into the B room there, and it was just me and Will and Jeff, Joe Roden, some other guys. We're all like sitting in a circle, and Will was complaining. He says, "It's Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. It's not Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Ron," because Ron was the accountant. And he was just mad, but he kind of calmed down. And then it always happens, they start joking around, Will and Jeff, and everybody starts telling jokes. And, you can't stop laughing. And someone told me that they get so funny that sometimes people throw up because they'll laugh so hard. And I never heard of such a thing. And I'm sure enough, I'm sitting there and I forgot what it was, but they made everybody laugh so hard. And Joe Roden, he was laughing so hard, he picked up a bag next to him, he threw up in the bag. And when he was done throwing up, he was still laughing. And nobody stopped to see if he was okay or not. It's just kind of a normal thing. But those two guys, he put Will and Jeff in the room, there's going to be a lot of laughter. But that was kind of an interesting story of, this was all before Will became, he started making the money that he was making, because he had some tax bills that had to get paid before he could start spending his own money. So that was an interesting story.